Hello, everyone. Welcome to our new year. I wish everyone all the best. But if you're watching any other time, this exercise could be useful and helpful for you anytime when you feel inspiration and you feel a desire to create something what we call a vision board. Take inventory of everything you have that's helping you in your life and moving you forward. And we will use a metaphor of a sailing ship to inspire an idea of moving forward, an idea of freedom, an idea of how to manage your own sails and use opportunities, catch the wind, and being able to navigate the waves and the current. All this is a beautiful metaphor for navigating our life. I'm Alina Smolyansky, a certified instructor of Neurographica, and I welcome you to our session that's dedicated vision. If you think about a year, it doesn't have to be a year. It could be some specific period of time that you envision. I will turn my drawing camera on and we will continue with the exercise. You're welcome to use any drawing materials. It's more like neurographic art, not strictly pure neurographica, as you know my free sessions are. I think I'm going to draw with blue, with the idea of the water and dream and air and movement. If you're not familiar, particularly with neurographic art or neurographic line, I will explain a little bit as we're drawing. As I mentioned, we will use the idea of a sailing ship, of a tall ship, of those majestic, beautiful, one of them very few means of transportation over 100 years ago. You can position your paper in a portrait format, like vertical, but I will, in the nature of the drawing, I probably use it as a horizontal. It really depends how you position your vessel. There was a question about whether pencil. We can use, we start with as a regular drawing lines with a marker, and then as we continue, we can use our colored pencil. You can use pastel, you can use coloring or drawing tools. You feel comfortable and you want to express more because your intention is more important. And now talking about intention, I would like you just to set your intention to envision your future. This is our intention, as I mentioned, illustrative vision board. And we will begin with drawing the neurographic lines, probably about like 1/4, not higher than a quarter. Imagine that this is our ocean, that will be a sea, and that will be the sky. So the ship will be sitting somewhere here. And let's start drawing our neurographic lines. Marker, like a brush marker. I like brush markers. That's neurographic lines. The neurographic lines are the lines that do not repeat themselves. There is no pattern and no repetition. Some lines can cross. So imagine that this is the flow of life, how you feel it right now, whether it's more turbulent or calmer. Well, I think probably with all that's going on in the world, everyone has a little bit more waves than normally because we are thinking what this near can bring us. But on the other hand, we can help ourselves by maintaining peaceful attitude, kindness, and in this, by creating such positive vibrations, we can help the world, starting with our environment. Okay, so this probably could be like a reflection of life if you think of it today. If you know, rounding to make it more, to make our sea, our what exists. This is existence because the sea, the ocean exists without our ships, without our boats, and it's like a life, the flow of life. You can always add more waves. And now I would like you to envision your ship will represent your yourself, like starting with how big it is. Like trust your hand. This is you. As you draw the hull of the sailing ship, that will be like what you are, how you envision yourself in the moment. And trust your hand. This is going down. I have a hill. Like, you can also include if you feel like rudder that helps it to hold it course. And now let's draw the mass and as a foundation for our sails. The sails, that something will keep it moving forward. So here I'm going to use two mass. Mainmast. What moves me forward? I do not name them, but we're going to use that. So this is my main sail. Be playful. This is just a simple drawing. Do not complicate it, please. Filled with the wind. And you can always add more. So that's our first sketch. We call it in the Neurographic Art diagnostic drawing because we trusted our hand to draw this. So what else can we, like when we look at this drawing, now we can start analyzing it. Or say if this is whether how comfortable you feel with the hull of the ship, whether it's strong enough, whether it's good in relation to your sails. Now sails, you can name them they're like driving force, whether they're your aspiration, goals, a vision that moves you forward. So I think so far I'm satisfied with the size, but I can also add more. I can increase the size and what we normally do in Neurographica. Like for example, if I want, so this will be my main cell. This one can be increased. So what you do to increase something, sometimes they have two sails here in front. If you know, I'm quite familiar with rigging visually in the tall ships, and sometime in the past I was really interested in them. I just love them, and I kept on drawing them. So, but if you want to increase like one of the sails, I'll show you example. You can just add one more line and convert this one. Let's diffuse it, the other neurographic lines, and strengthen this one. by neurographic lines. We will just, when we're satisfied with the size of the sails and everything else, we can start adding neurographic lines. So you are welcome to name them. That now I will use this sketch as a vision board for me. That will, for me, important is what they call it, my spiritual path in life. It's the most important we are close to, and of course, is it's what I'm doing in the life, my professional activities. Profession, I would call it profession. Please feel free to add whatever, as we're all different, we have different priorities in life. You can add more, something that concerns you more or less. In general, I will add health, vitality, because everything, that's really what enables us to accomplish all this in our physical life. For this one, and also I would like to include some activities that bring me take less time and less maybe in priority, but always something that brings joy. So this one, I would probably put it as communication and community. Communication will probably include also all the communication I have, including with my, it will be communication. So now it is time that we can always add something. I can also add one more sail here if I need. The additional sails could be set here. It depends how they connect. They're like more like sideways facing if I feel I need. Also another option, you can always extend your mast and add an extra sail here, make it a bigger ship. I will probably include this as a separate issue, not really less connected to my activities, but there at the back of my mind is a more like family. And when you are satisfied with the size, you can start adding neurographic lines and convert this drawing to a neurographic drawing. I will keep this back the must to show that, and even connect it with the fine neurographic lines to the background. This is the time you can also start analyzing it. Like, for example, I noticed that I assigned this sail communication, which is a triangle. And triangle, it's a figure of activity and drive in Neurographica. And you probably know that communication is one of the most important elements in our life, and it comes in very different forms. Also, you can strengthen your current, which represents you, the hull, with a additional line. Neurographic lines always suggest that we pay attention. And if normally when the hulls were made from wood, you can use this idea and add neurographic lines, creating this pattern of reconstruction. Just doing a tiny movement with the hand. Now, by the way, those who will join me in our neurographic connection, January edition, We will work more on these ideas of what each represents, adding elements as our resources with different parts, work on our what prevents us from move us forward. We will break this general picture in more elements. Neurographic connection will be offered on Fridays. If you join live, we will have 4 Fridays. Now I use neurographic lines to draw attention, my attention to those cells or priorities in my life and what really moves my ship forward. I'm planning to work more on this idea in our neurographic connection. Emily? Jackson, you must. By the way, if you feel like including any symbols in this drawing that reflect your, it symbolize your priorities, that will be, you're welcome to add them. If you have like symbols or images, that's possible to do that. Because our mind, subconscious mind responds really well with the images. It doesn't understand the language, but it responds to visuals. At the same time, you also start rounding. When we use rounding, this means that the neurographic lines are connected, where they cross each other, but also they soften the corners. So this was interesting. This sail is also has a sharp corners. So we can analyze, look at our drawings and analyze it. Well, health is always has some, we always have some concerns. So what we can do is add more like rounding on the corners. And if you feel like your corners are really sharp, we can always add neurographic lines, starting them from the corners. Now I will use the same color pencil because I don't want my lines that come out to overpower my drawing. It's like, if you look at any picture of a sailing ship, you will see how many riggings they have, and you can always use some patterns, like when you look at the idea and add more lines. Because all those elements are attached to the ship, and also those riggings are used for moving the sails and using the power of the wind. So there are also windows. No, windows portholes, as they called in on the ship. And use a probably hanging anchor. That's something, important element that I would like to discuss in our neurographic connection session. The neurographic connection, that's a monthly meeting, and I will include the link below in the description to this video. Few more windows here. So if you feel comfortable with this sketch, we will not be able to round all the corners in this session, as you can take time to work on the waves, to work on your picture more, to make it more meaningful to you by including various elements and to feel how they affect you. So the main idea to pay attention in this drawing, this quick drawing, is to you see how you feel comfortable, how strong, where it's wavy, where it's smooth. For example, when I look at my drawing, I see, yes, there's waves present, but the ship itself feels comfortable and straight and not rocking too much in waves. Perhaps if I add more rounding after the class, you will feel even more comfortable. Right now, I feel like not anxious, but moved. And that's the indication of waves. So the size of the hole, myself at this moment, yes, I feel the size. It's strong, moving forward, and the sails are open. Obviously, there is a wind. The wind moves me forward. It's in a supporting wind. You see that the flag is to include some colors. And it will be an interesting challenge in this drawing. So how to create, we have a lot of blue color. We have the waves, the ocean, and the sky. So now idea with the sky, I think it would be good to include the sun. This is like talking about resources briefly. It's something, the force that moves us, that makes everything, that supports our life. Of course, I can, in the picture, include a few clouds. And it's normal to have clouds. They're not rain clouds, they're just regular clouds. These are just ideas. I will make it more artistic picture because I use the watercolor pencils. And with will work really well with this topic. I will leave the sail as white. So I want to create enough contrast to make sure that they are white. White feels good. You understand this is a symbolic image, so you don't have to be exact. Like, for example, I I want to brown. Brown is not my favorite color. I'll use purple. For the to represent this wooden structure, the structure and the container, the ship itself. You can also add neurographic lines to connect the picture to the background. If you're familiar with Neurographica, and I feel comfortable adding more lines. That's what I'm. That's what I'm trying to explain. Regarding other elements that were common for Neurographica, but not necessarily present in neurographic drawings, neurographic art. The field lines. If you feel like you want to add field lines, yes, please go ahead and feel comfortable, add the field lines. I will keep this drawing as it's more like art. I don't feel like adding the field lines, like strength line right now. Maybe later, I'm not sure. But for the time being, I want to keep it as it's more like neurographic art drawing, appealing to my emotions. Because it's always about inspiration. So those who would like to even explore this topic of vision even deeper, my course, The Fresh Start, more traditional vision board, as well as creating a timeline, if not for the year, for as long as you want, for a period of time. And also will include one of the most interesting moving forward with project is a hero's journey. Yeah. Or you can find a link in the description to this video. At the end of our drawing and finishing it, and talking about other neurographic elements is, of course, the elements when we find the most important element with focal point of the drawing. My logic tells me that this is the ship that carries everything. Its cargo and people is probably the most important, and the sails at what moves forward. So, and I will outline it, make it more prominent. As well, I can, at the same time, I can outline with a stronger lines, like make more sails, what drives more distinct. There was a question about whether we continue with this idea on the Friday class, I would say will be probably a little bit more technical. This is more visual, more for inspiration, but Friday I will be more technical, including also some Neurographica techniques. For example, in Friday class, it could be like here we have elements, but now I'm drawing a cloud. We can ask ourselves, so what in Friday class, what does this cloud represent? How is it helping me? In what way I can see it? Whether it's helping me, whether it's abstracting my sun, my vision, giving more explanation to each element. Also the waves, whether they're not only the waves in the ocean, but also some other obstacles could be in the water, especially if we go close to the shore. So we can view those, the meaning, how to navigate in the anchor, whether it has any, raising the anchor and leaving the harbor is also a big step to start our journey.